Hello here, this is Shalise with Autistic Travel Goddess. Today I want to share with you guys some networking tips that I have for you guys. So keep watching. First of all, let me remind you to like, comment, and hit that subscribe button as if it made you mad. Alright, let's get to it. So as you know, being autistic and trying to move up in your career, trying to build a business, or even advance your business, networking is so important. Like, people don't realize how important it is to network and make the right connections and, build the right relationships. And this is something that they don't teach us in school. They emphasize to us, go to school, get your college degree, go to school, get your good grades, pass all your classes, take the right major, all of that jazz. But the thing they don't talk about is networking and how important it is and how underutilized it is in our world. So one of the things that makes it so difficult for those of us with autism to get ahead, in the world of careers and businesses, is the fact that we don't always know how to network. And, we're dealing with a lot of trauma in regards to building relationships with people because we struggle with not being accepted and being ourselves. We were used to being ridiculed for being ourselves, and so that makes it hard for us to network with people and build the right relationships. But today I'm going to give you some tips as to how to overcome that. So here we go. Tip number one, I would say that first of all, when you're networking and building relationships, you got to think about what it is you and that person may have in common. And how is it that you can add value to that person? Like, what do you have that's going to be valuable to the next person, and how can you help them? So, long story short, basically, you're thinking about, what your value is and how you can benefit the other person. Make sure it's, two-sided and not just one-sided, just because, you don't want to come across as a person who is only trying to get for themselves but not trying to help others. You don't want to come across that way, and so it's important to come across as someone who's equally generous as well and is willing to also share resources and, collaborate and, be helpful to the other person. That way that the other person can also be helpful to you. So networking is a two-way street. Number two, networking, this is something that's so hard for us. And the thing is, we are so used to not being ourselves. Please be yourself when you're networking. Please be your authentic self. Because when you're masking and when you're not being yourself, it makes it hard for you to attract the right connections. And you also risk attracting the wrong connections. And then when people really get to know you, it turns out not to be a match. And you end up attracting opportunities that are not for you. When you're not yourself, you end up attracting the wrong opportunities to you. But when you just be yourself, you attract the right people and the right opportunities to you. And you don't have to, walk around hiding anything or trying to mold yourself into something you're not. So it's really important to be yourself. And guess what? If people don't accept you when it comes to networking, if people don't want to be involved with what you're doing, or they don't believe in you, guess what? Those people are not for you. Like, that helps you to eliminate those who are not for you. And so you slowly build an authentic circle for those who are with you. And the thing is, being yourself is not always easy, especially if, being yourself has caused ridicule in the past, or, we've been punished or somehow unaccepted and rejected for being ourselves. That can be painful, and I totally understand from my own personal experience. But I've learned that anyone who rejects me and doesn't accept me, they're just not for me, period. That their opportunities and everything else that they have to offer is not for me. So that's what makes it easier for me to be myself, especially when I think about the impact that I have on other people just by being my own bubbly, humorous, bright, blunt self. When I'm myself, I attract the most authentic connections, and, I attract the circle that believes in who I am, and I don't have to hide anything, and that's the beautiful part about it. And the third most important tip of all is, I would suggest going on to groups and attending conferences for your special interest. Whatever your interest is, go and look up conferences for that. Go and join social media groups for that. And just try to be involved as you possibly can. Associations, professional organizations for that, hobby groups even. I would suggest opening and casting your net wide open, just so you can, have more opportunities to meet people that can open doors for you within the interest or the field you're trying to get into. So that's the third tip that I recommend for networking. So I hope that these tips were helpful to you guys. And